Welcome to aardvarkreloading.com. This is the main website if you wish to safely learn how to make your own homemade primers. The information comes from Marshall Thompson's Homemade Primer course. A brief history. Back in 2010, 2012, somewhere in there, I used to sell reloading brass. And I also marketed my own class where I taught people how to reload ammo and cast their own bullets out of wheel weights. By happenstance, I met a man by the name of Marshall Thompson. Marshall came over to the house with a small box of tools and he showed us how to reload primers. Here's a few minutes from that first meeting.
1, 2, 3. Okay. You saw the fire come out. This is a primer I made with caps. 1, 2, 3. This is a primer made with my material. 1, 2, 3.
One day, during one of our many luncheons, I was leafing through Marshall's manual and looking at the various recipes. I had since learned that toy caps, the red roll kid caps, those are corrosive to your barrel, as well as H48 and Primol. Those recipes are corrosive to your gun. And although I fully intend on cleaning my gun after fun at the gun range, I get easily distracted from my plans. I may completely forget about cleaning that gun, and corrosion on those small parts of, say, an AR-15, I don't want to even think about it. So I focus on the non-corrosive recipes. I said to Marshall, I'm looking through your document, Marshall, and I'm looking to expand my reloading class to include reloading primers. But I've never ordered chemicals over the internet, and I'm not 100% sure what to buy. Are there any non-corrosive recipes for the rest of us, the non-chemists like myself? It's called EPH20, and it's the main non-corrosive recipe in which Aardvark Reloading is based upon. 2 of those 4 ingredients you already possess, and of the other 2, this one can be found on Amazon and this one can be purchased on eBay. Simply click on the button. You can then add that ingredient to your shopping cart. Have them ship that ingredient directly to your door. We realize you won't know the quantity up front, so we have suggestions for the recommended amount right on the button. I tried to design Aardvark to separate all this information. In other words, it's one line item, one topic, or one video. Now, I may have more than one way to perform that task, but those will be separated in a sub-menu. Let me take a few moments to describe the overall process, leaving out many of the details for now. As a reloader, let's closely examine a spent primer, probably closer than you've ever looked at one. Safety first. The first thing you'll notice is that little piece of metal in the middle of the primer cup. It's called an anvil. Without it, the primer will never ignite. The first thing you're probably going to want to do is take a pair of pliers and pry the anvil loose to reveal all of the spent powder. We clean that spent primer compound using the same equipment and detergents that we use for cleaning and polishing brass. Naturally, we would want to flatten the primer cup caused by the firing pin, but we would replace the powder with fresh primer powder and reinstall the anvil. Let me quickly go over the legend. There are some icons that appear on the left. Anytime you see a camera icon, that means that there's a movie or tutorial associated with it. A PDF, that means this leads to a document or some text. Finger means this item is linked to another page or another source of information. This symbol or icon points to the primer library. And if you see a little triangle, that means there's a drop-down menu to the right with the same information. Here we're going to see different ways to separate the primer types, say pistol from rifle. There are several ways of performing the same task. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the top row of Aardvark. This icon will always bring you to this page, no matter where you're at, the home screen. Avoid anyone that says reloading primers is too dangerous, but sit down next to the guy who knows how to do it safely. And you can find those people in the know under Home, and you can join any one of these 3 MeWe groups. Homemade primers, these are the steps it takes to reload a primer. In the beginning, you're probably going to spend a lot of your time on this page. You should watch the different techniques for each step. As you watch them, begin to match up your current tool set or your skill level with the different methods offered. Between the guys of MeWe and Marshall's initial instructions, Aardvark offers all kinds of ways to perform these tasks. De-anviling is a big one. It used to be exclusively done with pick-end pliers. Believe it or not, I do it this way instead. Anyway, I encourage you to observe all the different methods. Don't forget about the submenus, and pick out the method in which you feel the most comfortable. This is the main corrosion-free recipe I was talking about. It's good to know that EPH20 actually is just one flavor of the EPH20 series. You can change the ingredients a little bit to make that ratio of, say, glass to powder for the purpose of using those primers for different applications. Say, changing a pistol recipe can be tweaked for your rifles and tweaked again for your Magnum primers. This is the lab equipment that you will need. Primer tools. Throughout the past decade, I've compiled this list of tools that I've used to reload primers, and I naturally started with a pair of pliers and a pick to remove the anvils, but I graduated to improved homemade picks I call danvils. But you might find some of their ideas, such as using glass pliers to help seat the anvil at specific heights above the rim. I, of course, have graduated to using steel plates and reloading primers 100 at a time. But maybe my list will give you some ideas on which way you wish to proceed. It's important to me for you to know that most of these ideas and innovations were not my original ideas, but were contributed or inspired from the other guys from the MeWe groups. As I stated, you already have NC or smokeless gunpowder in your reloading room. It just needs to be ground up into dust-sized particles called NC fines. Faster is a page that, of course, I think you should make them one at a time like a single stage press. But after you prove to yourself that you indeed can do it, there are members that have taught me how to make them 40 and 100 at a time, and this page is their solutions. About Aardvark points to this video. About page will always give you the overall information about this page only. Quickly down the side, other recipes. Of course, Marshall's manual includes other recipes besides EPH20, and some of these are more powerful, but they generally are more difficult to gather the ingredients or to synthesize them yourself. And of course, your corrosive recipes such as H48, any corrosive recipe in general is both going to be inexpensive and or the ingredients are going to be easily obtained or synthesized yourself. So just because they are corrosive doesn't mean they should be discounted entirely. But I'm trying to convince you to collect the ingredients for non-corrosive primers in times like this of relative peace. I'll cover Libby more thoroughly in another video. NC, you're going to hear me say over and over again that small ground up gunpowder is all the same, and that's true. But there are some exceptions if you select the rifle powder in which to grind. So make things easy on yourself and select a pistol powder. You've got dozens on the market in which to choose. Hodgdon's reloading data. It's a link to Hodgdon's wonderful reloading data. It's like having access to your reloading book from the convenience of your phone. And casting, as I stated earlier, the reloading site, so these buttons are left over from it. We encourage you to always look over the safety info. And as always, we're always looking for donations. This is Mark on Aardvark Reloading.com. If this tutorial helped you, I have many others like it. Please consider helping with the cost of publication by visiting the support page. There are several ways to do so. If you already are a contributor, I really couldn't afford to publish or maintain this site on my own. Thank you.